What's up guys, welcome back to the Run with Jay channel. So I'm super excited for Asics this year. They got some great shoes coming out. So now in this video we're going to be looking at the Metaspeed Sky, which is one of their high-end marathon racing shoes. They also have a Metaspeed Edge coming out as well as a Magic Speed, which is a training companion for those two shoes. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at the Sky, checking out the specs and what it's made of, and see how it runs, and see if this shoe really has what it takes to take over the top spot of the marathon racing category. So if this is your first time to the channel, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the bell for notifications. To all of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your contribution and support. So let's get this review started. So let's first take a look at the specs of the Metaspeed Sky. So this shoe was released in April of 2021 and it cost $250, so it's pretty expensive as well. Pretty much same price as the Nike Vaporfly Next here in the US. The shoe weighs at about 7 ounces for a size 9, so it's pretty light. The only shoe lighter would be the Vaporfly Next in the same category. It is lighter than the Alphafly Next as well, which is pretty amazing. So Asics has done a really good job with revamping the shoe. The shoe has a 5mm offset with a 33mm in the heel and 28 in the forefoot. So this shoe is made of a few important components. You have the engineered mesh on top, which is very similar, in my opinion, to the Adios Pro from Adidas. It's very breathable, light, and airy, and you can literally see through the shoe. You have very standard laces on the top with minimal padding on the tongue. There is some padding in the heel collar area, but that's about it. And in the midsole, you have the bread and butter, the new Flight Foam Blast cushioning, which is super comfortable, super light and responsive. I think, in my opinion, it's as the same or even better than the Zoom X foam from Nike. And also, it doesn't crease like the Zoom X foam from Nike, which is really nice. And I'm surprised how Asics was able to create something like this. This foam just feels so light and airy, and it's just so responsive and cushioning. And he also added a lot of cushion to the forefoot area, where runners have problems with when they're saying shoes doesn't have enough cushion. So this shoe has tons of cushion in the forefoot area, which is great. outsole, you have a thin layer strip of rubber on the top with little holes covering the exposed foam, and on the bottom there's just rubber on the heel and the outside area, but the rest is exposed foam, so that could potentially wear really quickly. So first impressions of this shoe does look fast. I mean, I really like the design and the colorway of the shoes. It literally looks like you're running on fire while you're running in this shoe. The engineered mesh is very breathable and comfortable. The laces I'm not a big fan of, since they're very standard like cotton laces and they fray very easily, and they're kind of long in my opinion. But other than that, it's a very comfortable shoe. The foam is super soft and cushioned in the heel and in the forefoot. Is a very healthy amount of foam on both ends. There's not much padding in the tongue. It's very minimal. There's very minimal padding in the heel and collar area. And the insole is glued in, so you can't really take it out, and there's not much padding in the insole at all either. But the one good thing is that there's just a ton of room in the toe area for people with wide feet, or they feel like their foot is too locked in a lot of racing shoes. So there's a lot of room in the toe area as well as the midfoot. So like I said before, you might be able to go down half a size, which I might try in the future. But I went true to size and it fit fine for me. So Asics decided that after a couple years of research and testing while designing these shoes from the ground up, that not all runners fit the same mold for one type of shoe. So what they did is created two types of shoes. One is the Metaspeed Sky, that's more catered towards stride runners. So as runners increase their speed, they increase their stride. And then they have the Metaspeed Edge, which is supposed to be released in June of this year for cadence runners. So people that increase their steps to increase their speed. So that was a really nice idea and design from Asics, and I really like thinking outside the box and creating shoes not just for like a one size fits all kind of category. As we know, all runners are different and all runners run differently as well. So this is a very nice idea by Asics. So the lower drop of the Metaspeed Sky with the 5mm coupled with a more pronounced toe spring gives you the foot to transition more quickly, the gait cycle, and up through the toe off. So over the course of a marathon, Asics is saying that the Sky should improve your running economy by 3%. While on the other hand, the Metaspeed Edge, which is supposed to come out, is more towards cadence. So they believe that cadence runners need more control of force from foot strike to toe off, which is why there's a higher heel drop of 8mm in the Metaspeed Edge to give you a greater sense of stability and control. So Asics claims that the Metaspeed Edge will reduce the number of steps you take during a marathon by about 2.6%. So very interesting facts from Asics, and we've yet to see those be tested. So I'm looking forward to testing those out. So Asics has also released a training companion shoe called the Magic Speed, which has gotten a lot of great reviews. That shoe has a carbon forefoot plate in it. And a lot of people are saying it's almost like the Endorphin Speed, which is a very popular shoe. So it's gotten a lot of great reviews as well. So first run in this shoe, I was thoroughly surprised of how nice and comfortable this shoe was. I really think that this shoe has what it takes to overthrow the Nike Alphafly and Vaporfly Next % as a new top marathon shoe. This foam is just super squishy and comfortable. I feel like the Vaporfly, although it's soft as well, it isn't as it is a little bit more hard and rigid while running in compared to this shoe. While you're running in this shoe, the foam is just a tad bit softer than the Zoom X and is less stiff, so it makes it for a more comfortable ride for a long mileage. So that's a really big plus. This shoe suffers from what the Vaporfly did in the first year, which is the tongue slides down a little bit, which I didn't like. And another thing is there might be too much room in the toe area, so your feet might slide around a little. So like I said, I would have gone down a size, half a size, just to have a more snug fit. I really don't like the laces either. It's just so basic, and it's something that they could have made a little bit better. Even trying to lace it a couple times, it just snags and frays very easily, so I'm not a big fan of that. Other than that, the shoe reminds me a lot of also the Adios Pro from Adidas. The feeling of the foam, the mesh on the top is super similar, and the way that they did the heel and collar padding, very minimal, just like the Adios Pro. So if you run in the Adios Pro, it'll feel a little bit similar to it. But overall, the foam, the flight foam, I think is just an awesome foam, and I think it's better, or if not similar, to the Zoom X foam. And also it doesn't crease like the Zoom X foam, which is very interesting. So, Asics has done a great job in the lab researching this shoe, and I think they've got a really winner here with this shoe. And I think you'll see a lot more runners running in these as opposed to the Vaporfly Next percent from Nike. And I think that's also a great thing because, although Nike did take the lead initially with their technology, a lot of other companies are coming out with shoes that are pretty much matching it now, or like this shoe that might even be better than it. So, it's great for the shoe technology that all of these companies are catching up, and then they're creating their own styles of shoes that's probably, if they'll eventually probably surpass Nike. So things that I like about the shoe is the foam, of course, very comfortable, very snappy, responsive, just like the Vaporfly and the Zoom X foam. But I feel like there's a little bit more foam in the forefoot area compared to the Vaporfly Next percent, so it's very nice, and you just feel a lot more responsiveness in the forefoot area. And I think the plate is also designed very well. It just forces you to run on your forefoot a lot. There's also a wide toe area that I mentioned before that I really like. And this shoe is also very bouncy and squishy. It almost has the feeling of the New Balance RC Elite, but just not as unstable and not as too squishy like that shoe. And there's also a lot of cushion in the heel area, which is also very nice if you like heel strike frequently, or if your legs get tired and you don't start running on your forefoot or mid foot a lot. So things that I don't like about this shoe is the laces that I mentioned before. Also, turning is a little bit troublesome with the shoe. It's not as easy to turn, but that's very similar to a lot of the other shoes as well that has high stack foam. So the turning could be an issue. And also the outside foam, since it's exposed on the bottom, is going to wear away very quickly. So even after a couple of runs, you can see some wearing away from the foam. And this is like a lot of the foams that you've seen, where after it wears off the first layer of skin, the bottom is just soft, squishy foam, kind of like the 4% Fly Knit from Nike that a lot of people were talking about how the foam just wears away quickly. So this is the same deal. The upper part, the rubber, is pretty solid. That hasn't really wore out or any after a couple runs, so be aware of that. The foam on the bottom does wear off fairly quickly, so that could lead to less durability issues. But other than that, the foam doesn't crease on the side or on the bottom, so it's very rigid and very nice, so I really like that. And also the tongue is something I also didn't like, because after a while the tongue slides down a little bit, so you're going to have to pull it up again and retie your laces, so that could be a nuisance while you're in the middle of a run. But other than that, I think that this shoe is amazing. Asics has done a great job creating the shoe from the ground up. Super comfortable, and I really think I'm going to try using this shoe as a replacement for the Nike higher end racing shoes. So overall, Asics has done a great job with redesigning their shoes from the ground up. It's definitely one of the top shoes out there that you can get. And I think a lot of runners, if they are able to try both of this shoe as well as the Nike top end shoes, might actually decide to pick this shoe. So I'm definitely going to give it a go with this shoe in some races to see how I feel. I'm not giving up on Nike yet. I still think that shoe is just designed almost to perfection, especially with the Vaporfly 2 that came out with the revamped upper. Now that's more locked in. So both of those shoes are amazing, but the shoes are catching up to each other, and technology is doing its work. And Asics has definitely done a great job with this shoe, and the Flight Foam Blast here is just amazing. It's so similar to the Zoom X foam in my opinion. Even feels almost the same, but it doesn't crease, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, it's a great thing that you have so many choices to choose from for high-end shoes now, and they're all so similar and close to each other that you definitely can have your choices to pick which shoe fits you the best. So some people might not like this shoe the way it fits, and some people might like the way the Nike fits. So, but it's good for you that you have different choices to choose from, and I think this is definitely worthy to look into as your top marathon racing shoe. And of course, you can use this shoe for any type of races, in my opinion, for 5K even, or anything even lower than that, or to a full marathon. So the shoe was designed to be raced in a full marathon, and I think this shoe will be great to give you, as speed as well as help your legs out over, so it doesn't get tired as often. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys have already ran in this shoe, let me know what do you guys think of it. Is this your new go-to racing shoe, Or do you think the Nike Vaporfly is still a better shoe out there? I'd love to hear all your feedback, comments, and opinions, so feel free to leave them down below. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you guys are all staying safe and your training's going well, and I'll talk to you guys on the next run.